First of all, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank the media for being here, taking your time to share this important message from our community. Let me start by inviting all the speakers, LULAC members who are very familiar with this issue of as we all know, the Texas Education Agency will be taking over Houston ISD, the largest school district in the state of Texas, the largest school district in the state of Texas. And why are we here today? Because I think, as we'll see in the numbers in a few minutes, the importance of our community to stand up and speak out of this takeover of HISD. And let me just share with you some data that's really important. You know, we are the most diverse city in the state of Texas, and Texas is perhaps the most diverse state in the nation. But it has to reflect the demographics, because we're all taxpayers, and Latinos are taxpayers, and Latinos now make up the majority of Houston. So give yourself a big hand. A lot of people may not know some data, but I'm going to start by some data. Did you know that in HISD, 62% of the students, 62% of the students are Latino? Did you know that 30% of the teachers in HISD are Hispanic? Did you know that 40% of the students receive bilingual or ESL services? That's almost half of all the students in HISD. Did you know that only 26% of the principals out of 273 schools, only 26% are Latinos? Did you know that only 1.6%, less than 2%, are members of the cabinet? And what are cabinet members? Those are the 12 high-ranking, next to the superintendent folks. These are the superintendent of transportation, the superintendent of operations, the superintendent of this. 1.6% of the cabinet, almost sounds like city of Houston, are Latinos. Did you know that Latinos here spend $52 billion in consumer spending? That is sales tax that goes to the state, Mr. Rosenthal. That sales tax goes to the state sends money down to the school district. And as you know, Texas does not fund public education as it should. And do you know what's the number one store? The number one grocery store? Guess what? No? Who said HEB? HEB. And who goes shopping at HEB? Latinos. So they spend a lot of money, a lot of sales tax. But also, we're property owners, and we spend a lot of tax money that goes into the coffers of the states that come down to the district. And therefore, we should have representation because we pay taxes, we pay sales tax, and we deserve representation. Not only that, okay, why are we here today? Because if you read the news this morning, only 10% of those who apply for the board of managers are Latinos. 10%. Look at the numbers. 10%, and I just found out it's even less now. It's almost about 8%. Now, this is really serious thing. Let me tell you something, honestly. Yes, it's a done deal. TEA will take over. But what we're asking now, whoever's running the largest school district in the state of Texas must have equitable representation of our community. That's why we're here today. Y también que no les olvide a los que van a elegir en la mesa directiva y todos los números que están, que la mayoría de estudiantes, el 40%, reciben servicio de educación bilingüe y maestros que dan clases de ESL. Entonces es muy importante que la voz de los inmigrantes, que sabemos dónde están en nuestras comunidades, viven aquí, que también merecen representación de alguien que se parece como ellos, entienden el idioma y entiende la cultura. ¿Están de acuerdo? Okay, so with that in mind, that is why we're here. Today we shout out and stand up and speak up for our Latino community. And they say we don't do it, but we're doing it. It is our time, and now we will no longer remain silent. Gracias. And the most important decision of any parent or grandparent or guardian is the education of your child. There is no other more important decision than educating your child for 14 years from pre-K all the way down to high school graduation, because that determines whether they're going to go to an Ivy League school, they're going to go to Houston Community College, which is the pathway of careers and education. It depends on the decisions that parents make and who's advocating for them. So therefore, without further ado, I'm going to invite Mr. Augie Pinedo, the immediate past director of LULAC, to say a few words, and then I have a couple of parents. ¿Por qué es tan importante?
Good morning. How's everybody doing? You know, I read in the newspaper today, the Houston Chronicle, that, you know, the window of opportunity for Hispanic candidates, or for all the candidates, was yesterday. It closed. There's only like 8.5% candidates, because the numbers did increase. They extended the time to a few days, so the number went up to 460 something. The number of Latinos is 52, so it comes down to less than 10%. It's about 8.5%, 9%, which is ridiculous. That means the pool of applicants for Latino positions is almost zero. And what is the reason for that? The reason for that is because a lot of Latinos, you know, we or parents maybe came from countries where democracy is not respected, where if they don't like the election, they change in the middle of an election. Now, that's essentially what has happened here. We had an elected board that is being replaced by one that's appointed. Out of the people that are applying, they're going to pick and choose. They're going to pick those that are in line with their thinking, which is privatization of the school district. That's what they want. And we think that it was a calculated effort to further minimize our numbers, because by giving us a short window of opportunity, by lack of transparency, and by lack of recruitment with the Latino areas, with Latino leaders, they have managed to further whittle our numbers down. Although, as Dr. Lira said, we're 62% of the student population, our representation is way low. And we can't let this stand. The Latino community is looking for options. As you know, there's already a complaint with the Department of Education, but we'll see what other legal or otherwise strategies that we will adopt going forward. Any questions? Thank you.
And now I'm going to have some parents speak on this issue, how important it is. Parents, come on up here. Don't be shy. Vénganse. And first of all, I'm going to invite Mrs. Quintero, Cristina Quintero, to say a few words, whose daughter attends HID. Va a hablar en inglés y en español la importancia de lo que va a pasar.
Good morning, everybody. Buenos días a todos. My name is Cristina. I have two children that go to Port Houston. Tengo un niño que está en segundo grado, que es educación especial, y una niña en tercer grado que toma clases en general. Como madre, estoy bien asustada y me da miedo de lo que va a pasar. Hace 3 años, el TEA tomó control sobre la educación especial. So 3 years ago, they took over the control of special education. As a parent that has to deal with an IEP, it scares me, because every year I go to these art meetings and I ask for therapies and line up everything to benefit so my child will thrive. And every year I've had a short wait. I push and I advocate for my child, for other children, and it takes a little while. But as of 3 years ago, right before the pandemic, it takes months and months to get any responses, months to get any type of help for my son. When that happens, he tends to just go back and he says it's another setback. And in all honesty, siento muy decepcionada como madre, ¿verdad? Por la agencia de educación, porque se supone que van a estar aquí para ayudarnos, pero vamos a ser bien realistas, no están aquí para ayudarnos. Quieren control del distrito. ¿Por qué? Porque es el más grande del estado. You have the control of the biggest district. What happens next? Austin? Dallas? Once you have that, what's really going to happen to our students? How are they going to benefit? We push them to do the STAR testing. We do not highlight the fact that they have problems with basic math and reading. And then we're sending them out to these colleges for what? For them to fail? As a mother, I worry for my children, for other children, and I think about it, and I ask myself, what are we gonna do? Yes, they are here and they're not gonna go away, but we could hold them accountable. We can be there when they have their meetings. We can be there consistently and tell them, we need you to represent us. We need representation in English, in Espanol, and every other language that basically echoes our district, right? All I can think is that anybody that's in here, if you have a house in this district, you're part of this. If you have a grandchild, a niece, a nephew, a daughter, even a cousin, even your neighbor's children, please just stay at it. Be informed. Les pido que por favor se informen de lo que está pasando con la Agencia de Educación y lo que van a hacer y sus motivos. Porque si los dejamos así, van a hacer lo que les da la gana. Si quieren saber más o quieren apoyarnos en informar a sus vecinos, comuníquense conmigo. Yo ahorita tomo sus números y puedo hablar con ustedes con paciencia y así nos ponemos juntos y nos unimos para asegurarnos que van a representar a nuestros hijos. Gracias.
Un aplauso. Gracias, Cristo. Y ahora va a hablar.
Él conoce a mi esposo.
Sí, Alfonso.
Mi nombre es Yesenia Torres. Yo soy mamá de 3 hijos. Yo vengo de Brownie. Me imagino que se me hace conocida la cara del señor Rolando Treviño. Creo que él fue director de Brownie exactamente cuando yo entré. Creo que él sale. Es una escuela chica. Son niños que la mayoría no pertenecemos ahí, pero nuestros padres están alrededor. Y yo siempre he estado pues buscando información porque mis hijos, yo y mi esposo los enseñamos a soñar alto, a ser personas que sean en el futuro buenos para esta sociedad. Y es siempre lo que le digo a los papás de mi comunidad: infórmense, conozcan sus derechos. Y me llamó mucho la atención la señora Treviño Ortiz, se me olvidó el apellido, estaba bien nerviosa. Nosotros como hispanos no conocemos nuestros derechos y cuando tocamos puerta, muchas puertas no se abren. Entonces, yo veo aquí muchas caras de personas que tienen o están en una posición alta. Yo les pido que cuando mamás como yo lleguemos a pedir ayuda, a hablar por nuestros hijos que son menores de edad, ábranos la puerta o mándenos con alguien que nos pueda ayudar, porque es muy duro cuando vienes de papás inmigrantes y tienes que trabajar a una edad muy temprana, pero cuando estás en este país, lo que yo le digo a mis hijos, el día de mañana yo quiero que digan, miren los hijos de Yesenia y Alfonso, fueron buenos hijos, los enseñaron a luchar bien y ayudar a su comunidad. Yo en la escuela trato siempre de tráiganos este programa para los niños. ¿Dónde está este dinero? ¿Por qué esta escuela siempre está? Una pregunta chiquita así como, ¿podemos tener programa de arte después de la escuela? No hay fondos, mis torres. No hay dinero. Y siempre escuchas que el distrito de nosotros, como dijo la señora, es grande. Entonces, ¿dónde están esos fondos? Me pregunto yo. Y llegan ciertas personas del distrito que casi no nos visitan mucho y les haces preguntas y te dicen, sí, te podemos ayudar, una palmadita, pero cuando realmente vas y buscas esa ayuda, la puerta no está abierta, la puerta está cerrada. Y si solamente hablas mi idioma y batallas para hablar el inglés, es doble trabajo para mi comunidad, para mamás como yo. Entonces me pregunto yo, ¿dónde están esas personas para ayudarnos? Ya, ok, me emocioné, pero gracias.
Muchas gracias, Yesenia. Lo que ella estaba diciendo, she was emphasizing the lack of resources in the communities, and Dr. Trevino understands the importance of having the right people in the right places, and Latinos that understand the needs of the community in the traditional schools. That's what she's trying to say, that there's a lot of funding, $2 billion in HISD, and why is it that some schools don't have, basic, things that they need at their schools. So now I'm going to present another parent whose sons attend Chavez High School. This is Cristina Acosta.
Buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Cristina Acosta. Mi primer idioma es inglés, pero yo quiero representar la comunidad latina. Quiero decirles que es importante que tengamos Spanish-speaking meetings for our community. He hablado con los padres de HISD alrededor de mis escuelas y ellos dicen que no saben lo que está pasando. Exijo al TEA que tengamos meetings en español. Tengo el honor de ser voluntaria por 12 años. No me pagan, pero yo peleo por ustedes, por mi comunidad y para la gente. Necesitamos pelear y mi concern es que no tenemos ese apoyo. Thank you.
Thank you, gracias. As you can see, the parent concern que no hay suficiente personas que hablan español, que les entienden. There's not enough Spanish-speaking. But look at the numbers, everybody. 30% of the teachers are Hispanic. 30%. So if the students are 62%, do the math. Half are not receiving the communication in their own language to understand their needs. Look at these numbers. This is not fake news. This is real news. And this is the real data. And I hope you etch it in your brain para que luchen y siempre, y recuerden estos padres que sufren en silencio. Many of them remain quiet. And they suffer in silence for their children. But we need strong leaders that understand what we're doing. Like Dr. Trevino, who has been in the gates there fighting hard. Everyone in education who takes that leadership role and fights for them, not the wealthy and the affluent on the other side of town that have the best schools. And the majority of magnet schools are on that part of town. If you look at the map, if you look at the data, they're over there, from downtown that way. You don't see a magnet school in this part of town. You do not see it. One magnet high school in this part of town. They're from downtown north, or Lockwood, north. But all of this whole area does not have, yet we have great teachers that try every day. They try every day to educate them. Un aplauso para todos los que están en educación. In a few minutes, we're going to talk about police officers, law enforcement, and bless their hearts. Yes, sir. Yes, one more speaker. You're next. Say Representative Rosenthal. Just give him my hand. We're going to have one student, then you're next. No, you first. Yeah. We need to hear student voices. Yeah, I forgot. Dios mío, ya need to remind me, ya estoy un poco viejo.
Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. My name is Sumaya Sheikh. I'm a senior at Austin High School.
Hey, go Mustangs!
Go Mustangs. I'd like to thank each and one of you for being out here today, and I'd also like to thank Dr. Lira for giving me this opportunity to speak amongst you guys. I'd want to excuse myself if I get a little bit emotional, but this is making me really upset just being here. The TEA takeover is racist, it's unjust, and it's wasteful. They're trying to take away our right to vote. It's showing youth, it's showing students that their voice does not matter. Not having somebody that looks like them on the board is discouraging. Even if you don't have a student with an HISD, you being here means something. There are students out there who aren't represented, and it's sad. I'm a tutor, and I was tutoring at Bruce Elementary School. Most of these kids are Black. They all look at them as just a star score, and it's heartbreaking to work with these students every day because they don't get the extra help, knowing that they're not going to be able to go on to the next grade level because the TEA said so. These kids can comprehend. They may have a little bit trouble reading, but that doesn't mean they're not worthy enough to pass this grade level. We're not a STAR test. We're not just another number. We're people. We're the future of this country. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. One more speaker. That's what it's all about. They are the future, and that's why we're here. Absolutely. Mr. State Representative Rosenthal is going to say a few words.
Thank you. Muchas gracias a todos. Buenos dias. So I'm not a very good public speaker, and it always intimidates me to follow somebody as strong as the student we just had here. But I do want to talk about what we're fighting against in your state government, right? So that old line, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Your state government is really undermining public education. And it starts out with the funding. We lack the resources in these schools. So right now, the basic allotment, the amount of money that the state gives for each student in school is about a little over $6,000 a year. The national average is close to twice that. It's 11,700 something. And we need a $1,000 increase per student just to keep up with inflation for 2019. And what do they put in their budget? $150. It's a slap in the face. And so now you start out without the resources you need, and then they make this STAR test is the way that they decide what schools to take over. The test itself is discriminatory. And so it shows you, it's very good at showing you what neighborhood you come from, but that has nothing to do with the in-class experience. It has nothing to do with how great our teachers are and how they struggle with such little resources to do the best that they can for the students that we have. So we have to fight this entire effort. And I'm here from across town, House District 135 on the northwest side, but I am here to tell you it's not just your part of town. This issue affects all of us. They are about to change the bar for the STAR test. So a lot of schools that were previously getting good grades will now be determined as failing. And you mentioned Austin School District? Austin High, are you an AISD?
Yeah.
Or E? Okay. They have just put conservatorship in Austin. So this is already creeping around the state. We have to be together, call your representatives. I will tell you that I'm part of your Houston delegation, Harris County delegation, all on your side. The vast majority of us are fighting this, trying to fight it legislatively, but your governor gonna do what he's gonna do, and so we have to hold them accountable. Make sure that you have the representation you need, and thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm gonna have a teacher and all the LULAC folks with their signs come back for our final comments, and I'm going to ask everyone that supports Latinos and HISD to come forward. If you believe that we deserve representation in HISD, come forward. If you believe that Latinos are underrepresented in Houston ISD and they deserve representation with the new board of managers, come up front. And Dr. Trevino knows that to take over a whole complete board, there are political motives behind that. It's about power and politics, because Dr. Trevino and I know that we can turn around any high school. He's done it before and I have done it, but to take over your elected officers, that is a shame to our democracy, and we must stand up for it. We will no longer remain silent. We're going to have a teacher to say a few words, and then we're going to wrap it up. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Marta Patricia Jaimes. I am an assistant principal in HISD. And everything these parents are saying about the lack of representation for the Latinos in our schools is so true. I am one of 7 administrators on my campus, 2 Hispanics, but I am the only one who speaks Spanish. Soy la única que soy bilingüe. Ando por todas partes tratando de ayudar a los padres, a los alumnos que no hablan inglés, que batallan. I give my parents my business card con mi número de teléfono personal para que cuando tengan algún problema, algo, se comuniquen conmigo y yo les digo, I am here for you, this is why I have a job. Please, parents, teachers, everyone, let's work together. I became a teacher. I fell into this profession. But I am very happy to say that I love it and I am there for my Latino parents, Estoy aquí para servir a la comunidad hispana, porque desgraciadamente en los distritos como HISD no lo tenemos y somos la mayoría. Por favor, I am begging you to please help us out. Please. Thank you so much.
Gracias, round of applause. La verdad, esa es la comunidad que necesitamos y la voz. One more, of course, a grandparent that had students in HISD, a mother whose kids went on to college from our public schools. None other than Maria Lira. Let's give her a hand.
Buenas tardes, buenos días. Mi nombre es María Lira y sí, soy madre y soy abuela, pero también soy una activista comunitaria. Como activista comunitaria, más de 30 años, me he dado cuenta que en lugar de ir hacia adelante, vamos hacia atrás. Es muy injusto lo que está pasando con la comunidad de habla español. Como ya dijo el doctor Lira, el 62% es latino y la mayoría son de habla español. Es una vergüenza que el TA no ha hecho ni una sola junta en español. Nuestras madres están perdidas, no saben lo que está pasando en la comunidad de HISD. Y yo no sé si a ustedes les molesta esto, pero a mí sí me molesta mucho que estén segregando a una comunidad que ha estado invirtiendo millones de dólares en Houston y en Texas billones de dólares. Ya es tiempo que los que estamos aquí como líderes nos levantemos y aboguemos por esta comunidad. Nuestros padres necesitan nuestra ayuda. Son nuestras generaciones futuras y también han sido nuestras generaciones pasadas. El idioma español es importante y debemos mantener el idioma al igual que cualquier otro idioma en cualquier parte del mundo, porque es un derecho civil, al igual que recibir una educación pública en español también, con cultura e historia, porque si tú no sabes de dónde vienes, tú nunca vas a saber a dónde vas.
Gracias. And as we know, our stories are not being told. So the history and the curriculums in high school are fiction, as John Luke Guisano said. Pero today we're making history. Ahora la historia es el presente es la historia. Mañana van a recordar que estuvimos nosotros como una comunidad juntos. But let me tell you something. In a few hours, in a couple of hours, media, y'all point to this. In a few hours, there's going to be a big rally downtown. There's going to be state legislators, elected officials up there. And you know what they're claiming? Don't turn back the clock on progress. But let me tell you something. In our community, the clock hasn't even moved forward. The clock has not moved forward. Look at these numbers. Our message is not don't move the clock back. Let's move the clock forward for our community. Nos merecemos. That's what we need. So all those elected officials, we're not turning back the clock. Somos la mayoría. Look at the numbers. This is our Latino community that believe in public education, the most important decision of our lives. Thank you, and God bless all of you for being here. Y si se puede, no se les olvide. And don't forget, Aldine, Amy, Pasadena, you guys are next. Stand with us. Hey, si se puede, si se puede, si se puede. Sí se puede. Gracias and God bless all of you.